And we are live. All right.
Okay, I'm good.
Good night. Thank you. All right. Concrete Shoes, Cyanide, TNT. Here we are. Hey, everyone. This is Jack Mangan. I'm rocking the Ghost shirt, and we're really excited about this one tonight. So I'm going to just shut the hell up and kind of introduce my cohort so we can get to the interview. But over to my left.
What's up, everyone? Again, it's Rich Catino from the Metal Asylum Facebook live interviews that we've been doing lately. And tonight we are joined by Mr. Steve Whiteman and Brian from Kicks. Great to have you guys.
Great to be had.
Hey, this is a serious show, you guys. No jokes.
All right. Brian sideways. It's really bothering me.
No, really fantastic to have you guys on. You know, you guys are a huge deal. So I'm a little bit in shock. We got you guys. You guys are awesome. But Rich, why don't you fire away? I know you've got some questions.
Okay. So you guys just released the relit version of Midnight Dynamite, if everybody doesn't know that. Yes. So can you tell us what makes this a little bit different than what you did with the reblown version of Blow My Fuse?
This actually started when Beau Hill, who produced the Midnight Dynamite album, came out to a show in Houston. He lives in Austin, so we were playing Houston, and he came out to a show just to hang out because we're old friends. And after the show was done, we went back to the hotel and we're sitting around the bar, and he just kind of said, "You know, I'd like to have another crack at Midnight Dynamite. I think I could make it better." And we just thought he was joking. We just thought he was just in conversation, but he really meant it. And after Mark had all this access to getting all the material for Blow My Fuse, he was able to get all the material, have it digitized, and send it to Beau. And Beau wanted to remix the record. And everything that I've heard so far, I haven't heard the whole thing yet. I don't even have a link to it yet. Do you, Brian? No, we haven't even heard it yet.
Really?
But he was sending things to Jimmy and Mark back and forth, and I was able to hear them from them. And basically, in the 80s, the sound was a lot more muddied up with too much reverb, too much echo, too much of this and too much of that. And now things are cleaner and technology is a lot better. So I think Beau wanted to have another crack at that record with the newer technology. And everything that I've heard just sounds great.
Okay. How about Brian? What do you have to say about what you've been hearing so far?
Hang on, I'm trying to see if I can log on with my laptop instead. I'm having trouble with this phone. The sound is in and out. I can't even hear what you guys are saying.
Oh, okay. Maybe
right.
log on. Try and come back on, maybe.
All right, hang on. I see you coming in. All right, we've got two of you now.
There, that's better. Now get rid of that.
I got rid of I turned my phone off. Okay.
Turn your phone off. There you go. Good.
All right, we kicked that other guy out.
I hated that guy. He was sideways.
At least I'm trying to turn my phone off. Why won't that turn off? Sorry.
You got to hit leave, I think.
You can tell we're tech savvy as hell, can't you?
We're still getting used to this format too.
Yeah, I know. It's new for everybody.
Yeah.
God, I'm in trouble here.
Well, you sound good. We hear you and see you fine now, Brian. Yeah, you were not. There was a problem. This is not what the album is going to sound like, by the way.
Oh my God. It's my phone gone now.
So can you hear us better now? You can hear us better now, bro?
Oh, it's way clearer now. It was so broken up, I couldn't even tell what you were saying.
Oh, okay.
Now, let me fix my lens.
Oh, wow.
Now I'm professional.
Yeah, that's fancy.
All right. What was the question?
I was saying, what have you heard differently from the new remix? As far as like guitars and things like that, are there little added things like they did for the reblown Blow My Fuse?
You know what? I have not heard a thing. I have not heard this yet, so I have no idea.
That's why you're doing interviews.
I know. I mean, I did.
There are a couple of things that we had a chance to go in and redo that Jimmy Chalfant, the drummer at the time, had to leave the recording on the last two tracks, Lie Like a Rug and Sex. He had like a pinched nerve in his neck, and we were going to leave the studio almost immediately and get back on the road. So Jimmy had to have a surgery. So Anton Fig came in and played on Lie Like a Rug and Sex, which Anton's a great drummer, but when Jimmy had the opportunity to put his drums on the record, he went into the studio and redid his drums for those 2 tracks and gave it to Bo. And Ronnie was also able to go in and redo a solo that Mike Slamer did, that Ronnie wanted to go in and put his own touch on it. So they got an opportunity to put their playing on the record, which they weren't able to do on the original recording.
Oh, okay. Because I've heard the remix, and I can't even tell that they changed. Those guys are on it now. It sounds the same. Sounds great.
Good.
So you already fooled. You got it. You fooled us. It's perfect. Seamless.
Good. Yeah, I'm anxious to hear the whole thing, and I know that there's demos that go along with it, which we did on the Blow My Fuse remix, and I'm just anxious to hear this stuff because I haven't heard it in 35 years.
That sounds great.
Yeah,
have you heard the demos?
I had to do
demos too. Yeah, I was going to ask: Are there any demos that you would have rather have had on the album instead of the version that turned out on the album?
Well, having not hearing them, I don't know.
You don't remember them, huh?
Are you you're asking if there was like the demo version we liked better than what ended up on the record?
What ended up on the album? Yeah.
No, usually the best version was the one on the record. Mark actually reached out to me when he was trying to put everything together to see if I had any old demos. So I went back and I have piles of tapes. So I was digging through all these cassettes and I found like 3 or 4 different versions of like Cold Shower. It's weird. Like the choruses would be slightly different, but the finished product definitely was the best choice.
Okay.
Very cool. That's my favorite song from the record, by the way. I don't know if you guys get that a lot. That's just such a classic. But I guess I was going to ask. What's that?
I wish the vocals were a little higher.
Oh, maybe this time around, right? Maybe in the new version.
I should have gone into the studio. I should have lowered that damn thing an octave.
So I was going to ask, for you guys, was the process for this one? It's kind of similar for the re-release of Blow My Fuse. Was it kind of the same kind of thing where you guys did a little retouches and then kind of waited for it to come out of the studio?
Yeah, Mark Schenker really had the biggest hand in this whole thing. Him being really close friends with Bo Hill, and we're all close friends with Bo, but Mark and Bo were really close and putting this whole thing together. Mark's relentless. When he gets an idea in his head, he doesn't stop until it's done and it's great. So, Brian and I, that's why we don't even have a copy of the damn thing, because Mark just takes the ball and runs with it. So I even asked, we played a drive-in the other night, and I asked Mark, I said, Mark, I'm doing interviews about this relit album, and I haven't even heard the damn thing yet. So you might want to tune me in so I can talk about it.
All right. I got to tell you guys, the comments are blowing up. I don't know if you can see the Facebook page. We've got just all kinds of just a lot of praise. I don't see any like actual questions. So you guys out there, if you're watching, if you have some questions, some specific questions, go ahead and ask. But just a lot of just love for you guys. A lot of just people saying hi. And Erica Lynn Schott says, you're Steve Whiteman, best frontman ever. It's Whitman though, right? Did I just say your name wrong?
That's Whiteman. It's Whiteman.
Oh, it is Whiteman. All right.
Yeah.
Yes. So there you go. Best frontman ever. And,
thank you.
Yeah. So you're getting lots and lots of love. But like I said, I'll read off comments.
Erica actually had a question. If anybody knows this answer, she says that there's 2 Kick songs that showed up in a movie in the 80s. 2 different movies. Yeah.
Ring Around Rosie was in one, right, Brian?
Mm-hmm.
Ring Around Rosie. What was the other? And Johnny Be Good. It's a really shitty movie. What was the song?
That might have been the Rosie song for that movie.
Hell, I don't know. I don't care.
We also had Cold Chilled was in Wayne's World.
That's right. Yeah.
Okay. All right. It's a good question.
I'm still waiting on the check for those.
Yeah.
In fact, we're still waiting on checks for everything.
Yeah, I think the record company's got them. But you see, we got a question from Chris Starr. It says just thoughts on touring next year.
Well, with everything being on hold, everything that we had scheduled for this year has I think only like 2 of them have been canceled. Everything was rescheduled. So, it depends on when we're able to get out and get a little normalcy back in our life. Right now, I don't, from what I'm hearing, if there is a vaccine, it's not going to be readily available till April or May for the general public. And will people even take it, and will it really help? So much is up in the air. We're hoping to get out. We have stuff starting in February. And if it happens, we would love it. But I have my doubts.
Yeah. All right, Rich, I know you have a question around this. What do you got?
I got a few of them. So, Brian, is there like some songs on the album that you're looking to hear, maybe more guitars that were kind of buried in the original mix that you think might come out now?
Wow, that's a good question. I don't think there's anything buried, really. But I know on the Blow My Fuse remix that Bo did, there were some guitar fills that were buried, like taken out of the mix, that were still on the tape, and he brought them back out.
Right.
So there might be some of that stuff that I've totally forgotten about. So since I haven't heard it, I don't know.
We're a great interview, aren't we?
Well, I listened to the whole album, and I really didn't hear too much of it. Maybe a couple here and there, but not like Blow My Fuse, which had it, I think, in maybe like 3 or 4 songs, I'd say, right? 2 or 3 songs?
Yeah, well, I think also with Bo, when we were doing the record, pretty much what we played was what ended up on the recording. And with Tom Werman, he would have me just play through the whole song, and then he'd pick and choose and put stuff in. So that's why there were so many extra things left over on the Blow My Fuse one.
Mm-hmm. Okay. All right, Jack.
All right. I got to tell you guys, man, I am so impressed. We have so many viewers. You guys just have a great fan base. So actually, I'm going to go there. We'll get back to the album for sure. We definitely want to talk about, the album that's coming out. But talk to us a little bit about what's up.
We don't know shit about it.
Right. They don't know shit. They'll tell you when they know.
I can tell you I've heard it, and it sounds killer.
Okay.
And it doesn't change anything about what the original sounded like.
Right. So do you guys have questions for Rich?
With the original, I thought the original was pretty damn good. To me, it's still my favorite record, not just because of the music, but the good time we had making it with Bo, and just we laughed harder than I've ever laughed in my life making that record. And that's just nothing but good memories about that record. And obviously it didn't really catapult our careers at that point, but it did open up some doors, and it made us even hungrier. I think after that record, the record company released Cold Shower for the single, and then it was pretty much done after that. And we refused to let the record die. So we just took all of our East Coast bar money and started to head west, and we would go out and play, and we pretty much had our own tour support. So I feel like, we did all the hard work and all the legwork after that record, and then the record company took all the credit for it and said, Blow My Fuse is about to blow. And, wasn't anything they did. We did all the hard work.
Mm-hmm.
Truth.
Yeah, it's a common story.
When that album came out, were you guys doing any arena shows, supports for that album, or you did it for Blow My Fuse?
Nothing out of like local things. We would get on some shows around here, like we would open for Aerosmith in Harrisburg and ZZ Top in Allentown. We would get shows here and there just to kind of help fill the bill, and we were lucky enough to know a couple of promoters, but outside of our little comfort zone, nothing.
Yeah, no, there weren't any tour buses involved, in other words.
No.
I see.
Just a van.
That old van.
So you guys must have a million just crazy stories and crazy things and crazy shit that happened while you guys were out on the road. I don't know. Can you? No, nothing. It was just boring.
Just ride down the road.
There's a few.
No, there's a few.
Well, so I was gonna, you guys are the kings of Maryland. I wanted to bring that up. You guys, absolutely own that state. You guys, like what Bruce Springsteen is to New Jersey or Bon Jovi, you guys absolutely are to Maryland. And so, I know, Steve, you said you're still there. I mean, can you tell us just what it's like, kind of being the proudest sons of Maryland?
You have to credit the fans for that, for sticking around for all these years. I mean, we played the area relentlessly, and we really went out of our way to be a different show every night. I mean, the goofy shit that I do or did and continue to do came from that time of playing like the same club 3-4 nights in a row, and we always would go out and then just buy dumb crap and use it as props on the stage and just to entertain the people. So I think they always appreciated our ability to make them laugh, to have a good time, and our following just stayed with us and got bigger and bigger. And as we started to put out records, then the pride came out when the radio stations would play us and all of our fans would call in. So it's just been an ongoing, long-going relationship for years.
All right, cool. Well, that's a great answer. Well, we'll read it, Rich. If we'll just our most recent question. Like I said, they're flying fast and furious. But Brian, the question's for you, Brian. How's Nashville living working for you versus LA?
Well, the weather is not quite as nice as LA, but it's still pretty nice. I'm adapting, and I'm kind of out in the country now. I'm not like, it's like country living. And the music scene is like happening here. Oh, well, it was until March.
Oh, all right. All right. Well, yeah, like I said, we got them coming in fast and furious. But Rich, what do you got? I know you got a bunch of questions too.
Okay. So Lie Like a Rug and Laying Rubber were a little harder and aggressive than the songs from the first two albums. So what were you guys like influenced by or maybe listening to at the time that influenced maybe those songs?
The first album really was written in the bars during sound checks, and Donnie would bring stuff in and we would work on them. So, that record was really polished and ready to go and ready to record in the studio. The second album, we went in with a whole bunch of other material than what we recorded, and we were coerced by management, by record label, by producer, and we made a pop album, which, we obviously were not a pop band. So we were hell-bent on not making a pop album for a Midnight Dynamite, and come up with some great songs. And I think we surprised a lot of our fans. But a lot of people love that second album, and it's our least favorite of all.
All right. Well, you see, we've got a question from David Lopan. He says, apologies to Brian, is really for Steve, but did Funny Money come out simply because of the Kicks hiatus, or was it always brewing in the background?
No, it came out because of the Kicks hiatus. I just wanted to get back out and play. When Kicks decided to call it quits, I was teaching. That's all I was doing, was teaching vocals and guitar and whatever else I could share with people. And after about a year, I was doing a benefit in Baltimore, and I got approached by a couple of guys who talked me into allowing them to come to my house and try and talk me out of retirement. So, and they did a good job. So they got me off the couch and back out in the bars, and it was tough because these guys thought, oh, Steve Whiteman, we're going to be rock stars, and unfortunately it didn't happen like that. So it was harder than probably starting with the Shoes, because they already had a big following when I joined them. So starting from scratch with Funny Money was it was tough going, but it was a lot of fun, and the fans seemed to like the music. And we did it for almost as long as Kicks did on their first run. Almost 18 years I did it.
Wow.
Yeah. And I'll say it really quickly. It's not like you went off and did this prog metal or prog rock album. And there's a lot of crossover, I think. Have you ever thought about crossing the streams between Funny Money and Kicks and doing some, maybe shows with blended materials, or even a Steve Whiteman box set where you have your best from all of your projects?
No, I mean, the reason I stopped doing Funny Money was because Kicks' popularity and offers were coming in more and more. And I thought that it was actually Funny Money was competing against Kicks. And I thought that's not really fair to the other guys, because promoters were coming at me because Funny Money would charge $1,500, $2,000, and Kicks was getting $10,000 and $12,000. I'm like, what should I do about this? So it was a pretty easy decision to put it down. And I don't know if there was really enough fans to put out a Funny Money re-release or anything. I would like. I've written some songs over the past couple years, and I don't think Kicks is ready to do an album yet. So I'm thinking about putting out maybe my little solo thing, just for something to do during this pandemic.
All right, cool, thanks. All right, Rich.
All right. So do you think you guys might do some type of a virtual show maybe next year to celebrate Midnight Dynamite, like in the studio, or maybe do something, you know, you guys get together and play a show and record it and broadcast it?
Yeah, we thought about that. I think I'm the most against that idea because I am such an audience-driven kind of a guy. You know, I need that feedback. I need that energy from the crowd. And for me to have no crowd and to just bounce around on a stage, it just doesn't interest me at all. I mean, I would not say no for the rest of the guys, but it doesn't interest me in the least.
Mm-hmm. Brian, how do you feel about it?
I'm open to anything. I'll do anything. It doesn't matter. Well, not anything, but
that costs extra. Well, I guess you guys are remote, right? So it's not like you guys are getting together all that often to jam in the same room, I guess, right? I'm assuming.
No, well, in the last 6-7 months, we played a wedding reception with social distancing in a club. We played a cornfield. We played some guy's house. and we just played a drive-in. So, you know, we want this shit over with quick.
Yeah, I agreed.
Yeah.
Well, I don't know if you see the question. Well,
Yeah,
will M3 happen? Ask Kevin Ward.
Yeah. Who knows? Who knows? I hope so.
All right. And another one, we've got a couple of people actually asking, let me see. A couple of people have asked, do you ever play Runaround?
Yeah, we did when the record came out. In fact, I played guitar on that one. I didn't play the only guitar, but I was able to play some guitar on that. Great song. It's always one of my favorites. And Jimmy's father played the viola on that breakdown lead section, and he did an amazing job. So that was kind of fun because we wrecked their lives for years by playing and rehearsing in their basement. So that was a reward.
Nice. All right. So, all right. Well, I'll ask the next question then. I do want to go back a little bit. Seriously, we got a million questions, but we'll try and get them all in the hour. And so, I mean, you guys have been around. You've already alluded to. You guys have been around like basically about as long as Van Halen, right? I mean, you've been around for long. So, do you listen to bands? And you can name names. Who do you feel like you listen to people and say like, yeah, they picked up something from us? Like, who do you think was influenced by you? I mean, I can name a couple, but I want to hear what you think.
That's a good question. I've never really thought about it. I mean, the obvious one is Poison, but I don't think their music sounds like us. I think they just kind of took our stage antics and claimed them as their own. But I don't know. I can't think of anybody really.
Yeah, that is a good question. Because a lot of times a band can be influenced by another band and not sound like that band, you know, but they'll name that band as an influence. And I've heard people mention us before, but you know, even a band like Extreme, I mean, they were huge Kicks fans, but they don't sound like us.
Right.
Yeah. I mean, us being so influenced by AC/DC is kind of obvious, you know. So it's hard for us to say were they influenced by Kicks or by AC/DC.
That's true too. Yeah, like Lana Bucket. I mean, they were like an AC/DC band, but then it turns out that they were huge Kicks fans too. So
that's cool. Yeah, I mean, I would say Cinderella for sure. I hear some Kicks in Cinderella, Tesla. Even I know Def Leppard have been around forever, but I think, you know, as their careers wore on, I definitely hear a little bit. So that's my opinion. I promise. So all right, I'll put up another question for Rich. Why don't you go while I find one?
Okay. How did you guys work with Kip Winger on Bang Bang Balls of Fire? How did that work out?
Kip was a good friend of Beau Hill's at the time, and he was just kind of like banging around New York, and he would just show up at the studio, and he was putting together a band or a deal. I don't know if it was with Atlantic or not, but he was just getting started, and he cornered Donnie one day and said, "I got this riff," and those two started working on it, and in about, I don't know, several days later, Bang Bang was born, and everybody loved it, so we recorded it. So people are looking for the demo on this new release. There is no demo because it was actually written in studio.
Well, I think there was a small demo with just the guitar lick on it because I remember having to learn the lick.
Oh,
So
yeah? I didn't know that.
it was a demo. It was from Kip, and it was just the main guitar. I think it was two-part lick or something. And that was all that there was.
Okay. That was Kip's first writing credit.
Yeah.
Really?
That was when he was in Alice, or right before he got into Alice?
Before Alice.
Before, yeah.
Before, right? Yeah.
Yeah, he's got a bright future ahead of him, that Kip Winger.
Yeah, he's not bad.
So, and then you mentioned about the teaching. I mean, you've had some high-profile clients and customers. I've
taught a few. Yeah, I've taught a few that have gone on and done pretty well, and I take no credit. You know, they have all the talent in the world. They just need a little guidance and push in the right direction. But yeah, I've been lucky enough to teach a few, and I've taught a lot of really shitty ones too. Way more shitty ones than good ones.
Can you name their names, the shitty ones? Can you?
Okay. Yeah, Claire and Millie. No.
Well, I don't know if you guys see the question from Jim Hobbs. Would love to hear. I guess it's a comment. Would love to hear Inside Outside In live at one of your future shows?
Yeah, you know what? We're not a ballad band. The only reason we play "Don't Close Your Eyes" because it was the biggest song of our lives. Ballads are boring as hell to play live.
I have to remember.
And I mean, we've done For Shame once in a while. We did Walking Away when Midnight Dynamite was out. That's got so much keyboards in it that I don't know. I just don't want to do those songs anymore.
All right, Rich, go ahead. You're up, man.
Okay. Is there any pro shot concert footage from the Midnight Dynamite tour that you guys could release?
Not that I know of. Again, you're going back 35 years, so many years and many beers ago.
And it was pre-cell phone days, so there's not a lot of footage.
I think I've seen something on YouTube. Maybe it was from, I want to say maybe Japan or something. That looks pretty well shot, and I think it's from that period.
That was Blow My Fuse.
Yeah.
Oh, it's Blow My Fuse. Okay.
But yeah, I know we did. I don't know, some of those concerts like at the Capitol Center, but that was probably before Midnight Dynamite, like with Eric. But I haven't seen it.
Anything that's good, that's usable, that you guys could possibly put out?
Not that
if it's out there, Mark Shanker will find it and he'll put it out.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, we got a comment from Blair. Not the Blair who was your bad student. Blair Aurelian says that, saw you guys a few years ago in Jersey and were awesome as you always are. So there you go. Or as you always from.
I just got a text from Lizzie Hale. She was one of my students, and again, I take no credit for her brilliance. She was amazing, but every once in a while I hear from her, and she's the sweetest thing on earth.
I was going to mention her. Yeah, she just got inducted into the Metal Hall of Fame years ago. Yeah, she's an incredible talent. She's
amazing, just amazing. I saw her 2 years ago when they were opening for Alice down in DC, and just makes my hair stand up. It's so good. The band is incredible.
Yeah. Well, and Chris Starr says, what are your favorite songs to perform live?
What's that?
Chris Starr, a viewer named Chris Starr. He asked, what are your favorite songs to perform live?
What are my favorite songs? I don't know. You go first, Brian.
I always name Cold Blood because it's easy to play, it's consistent, and it always sounds good. So, and there's a few, but that one I like because it's easy. I don't have to think about it.
Not easy to sing.
Wheels in Motion is a good one too.
Yeah, I like that one a lot. Whenever you're playing something that's a little newer, because the others we played thousands of times, so you just kind of go. That's the way you feel sometimes, but you can't let the people know that. You guys like it's the first time they've ever heard it. So, yeah, Wheels in Motion is a lot of fun to play. We played a lot of stuff off the Rock Your Face Off album when it first came out, and it was fun to play that stuff. But the crowds, you can tell what they want to hear. And they just want to hear the stuff that they grew up with from Midnight Dynamite, Blow My Fuse, and Hot Wire.
Mm-hmm. Cool. Yeah. Great answers. All All right, Rich, what do you got?
Are there plans to do a reissue remix of the first two albums now?
Oh, I'm sure. Hell, why not? I don't know if we have access to those old tapes or not, and whether you can bake them back into shape or not. But that hasn't been discussed. You'll never see a remastered Cool Kids. I don't think that'll ever happen.
What's it about that album that you don't like as opposed to the debut? What's the difference that you hear?
Well, they tried to turn us into a pop band. We went into the studio with a guy who just come off the Romantics album, and they had that "I Hear the Secret That You Keep," you know that song. So they got all over the radio with that song. So Atlantic hired Pete Solly, who was the producer, trying to reshape us into more of a radio-friendly band, and it just wasn't in our DNA. We took a bunch of songs down there that sounded nothing like what we come out with. So, like I say, we were coerced by management, by record label, by producer. We were just told to shut up and do what we're told, basically. And we did, and when we regretted it because we were never proud of that record. There was some good stuff on it, but for the most part, that was not the record we wanted to make.
Yeah, there were three cover songs on there, but the worst part was that they stuck "Burning Love" as the opener song.
Yeah.
Out of the three covers, that was probably the one that sounded the least like us.
That sucked.
Yeah, and I guess having Cool Kids as a single, which was pretty poppy too, didn't help either, right? and as a result, Midnight Dynamite was pretty. What's that?
I used to get pelted with dimes and cigarettes every time we played that song. So I really hated that song.
Well, a good after result came after that because Midnight Dynamite was pretty heavy. So
yeah, and that was the goal to put that record behind us, put Cool Kids behind us, come up with a real strong hard rockin' record.
Yeah, and having Midnight Dynamite, I think that was the single before Cold Shower, right?
No. Midnight Dynamite was we shot that video at a college and paid for it and got very little airplay on MTV. Cold Shower was the big record company production video that again didn't do much, and the record company goes, "Okay, done with that one. Let's move on."
To be honest, I don't even remember the video. I mean, I remember just remember the album. Playing the album a lot. The cassette tape, of course, just to show all of our ages, but. But I was going to ask both of you guys. I mean, you guys. Well, first of all, you guys have great hair, so I'm pretty pissed about that. But you guys it's a wig. All right. You guys sound great. I mean, I've asked this of a couple of our guests over the past. I mean, what's your secret to longevity? How are you guys still kicking ass and sounding as good as you both? This is for both of you. How are you still doing it? After all these years.
I guess for me, not stopping. And when I went right from Kicks into Funny Money and. I've always been very conscious about what it takes to put on a good live show. So that means keeping yourself in good shape and making sure that you don't turn into a big bald fat guy that that you don't look anything or sound like yourself. So I work really hard at maintaining what I have, and so far it's worked.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, when I left Kicks in the early 90s, I kept on playing. I was playing in bands all over LA. All the way up until Kicks got back together again. And, the last one was Rhino Bucket, which kind of overlapped a little bit. But, just the fact that I kept on going and I was conscious of myself and my playing that whole time, it kept me up on things.
I think we feed off each other, too. I think that there's just a goal to be the best that we can be every night we hit the stage. And we never mail it in. It's never even it's never even talked about. Like, I don't feel like it tonight. You just know this crowd's going to get our best every night.
Well, it's kind of ingrained. That's how we started. And it's kind of like our motto to start in the early days. And we've just stuck to it.
Yeah.
Great.
Yep.
Great.
Every time you guys come to the East Coast and you come to Jersey or New York, I always see you guys and you always kick ass and you're always hard rocking. And it's like, from 20, 30 years ago, it's not really anything different.
That's our goal.
Yeah, we might hobble a little bit more, but we still do it for us.
I haven't seen it at all.
We can't get out of bed the next day, but we give it hell on stage.
So Joe Casaro asks, Brian, is there a cooking show in your future?
Just some more videos on YouTube. That's probably about it. Nothing official.
Why? What do you do, Brian?
I just been throwing up some cooking videos since I've been home.
Oh.
I just I make videos of different recipes and a lot of meat, mostly meat.
Okay.
Well, you're in Tennessee, right? So yeah, you gotta get the grill going. Yeah, that's good.
The smoke.
Yeah.
The Traeger grill.
Yeah. Ding. Yeah, we have the Traeger too. Anyway, so I was also going to ask. I'm sorry if I cut in line with you, Rich. But so you guys mentioned about the covers that you guys were kind of forced to do. What are some covers that you guys had always enjoyed doing? What are some of your favorites, whether they made it on record or not? What are some of your favorite cover songs? Again, it's for both of you guys.
Go ahead, Brian.
I don't know. We haven't done covers in a while.
We haven't done them. Back when we did clubs, I remember doing some Beatles stuff and some Stones. But yeah, we never really did too many covers. We were more interested in doing our own stuff.
Back before we were signed, I mean, we were a cover band. We did a lot of stuff. The AC/DC stuff was fun. The Zeppelin was fun, you know. But since we got signed, that sort of went out the window. And like Steve said, like a couple encores, we do Get Back, and we do Satisfaction, or something like that, something easy, or It's Only Rock and Roll.
Yeah.
Nice. All right, Rich.
Okay. What are your thoughts on the Show Business album? Looking back on that one.
That record didn't have a chance. It just, it was the era of our music was gone, and we knew it, and we could just tell by the venues that we were playing at that point. Not that it's a bad record, but when we were making that, and we did it all on our own in our own studio in Waynesboro, Pennsylvania, with 3 ADAT machines, if you remember those at all. And Donnie was the producer. Jimmy was the engineer. Some of the songs were pretty good. But it was a weird time because Donnie's parents had been in a pretty bad car accident at the same time we were doing that record. So he wasn't around as much as he probably would have liked to have been. It probably would have turned out better had that not happened. But it is what it is, and it didn't do much, and we knew that was pretty much the end.
And at that point, I was just a hired gun.
Yeah.
I wasn't even in the band anymore.
All right. So I guess I did want to ask, we're not looking for dirt, any of that bullshit, but so did Donnie have any input or anything to do with the 2 recent re-releases and remixes? Do you have any input, or is it just
that's all Mark Shanker? Mark, he's a go-getting kind of a guy. So he found a way to do it and do it legally. And, it benefits everybody. It benefits Donnie. It benefits everybody. So, we're keeping this band alive and keeping us relevant and playing and getting all over Spotify and all the digital social ways of getting music these days. We're all over it, and we're actually finally seeing royalty checks, which I've never seen in my life until several years ago.
Wow. All right, Rich. What else you got?
Is there a song on Midnight Dynamite that maybe was from the first 2 albums that carried over into Midnight Dynamite, or are they all new arrangements and stuff for that album?
Yeah, they were all new. At that point, Donnie had started writing with outside writers and really changed the direction. I think the writing got a whole lot better when he started writing with other people. So it wasn't all on him. And yeah, that was all new original stuff.
Yeah, there might have been like songs on demos leading up to that record that were leftovers, but they all got put aside and all the new stuff sort of took over.
All right. Well, I don't know if you see the question on the screen. Walter Barry says, "Why did you stop playing 1812 Overture before coming on stage?"
I don't know.
It's probably still around somewhere.
Yeah, I'm sure we still have it. We did it for years. When I saw the Stones, and there was no big hoopla, no big intro, no big opening song. They just, the Rolling Stones, and they come rolling out and they start playing. And I just thought, that is so much cooler than that build-up bullshit. It's a waste of time, and it's silly. And so we did it for years and years, so it was time to put that to rest.
All right. Oh, good. That's a good answer. That's pretty straightforward, but that's what you get with kicks. Well, I mean, you talked a little bit about the '90s. What were you guys listening to? In the '90s or during that era? Did you like that stuff? Did you like Pearl Jam and Nirvana and that kind of stuff, or was that?
I hated it. Yeah, I didn't like it at all. There were probably a couple of bands, like Stone Temple Pilot. I like their stuff. I can't even hardly think of any of them because it wasn't my thing. At that point, I was still living in the '70s and '80s and listening to my music that I grew up on. So it wasn't didn't do anything for me.
Yeah, I kind of when I left Kicks and went out to LA, I got in a band. It was more along the lines of like Black Crowes or something, that kind of thing, more Stonesy sounding stuff. And even in a blues band I played with. And then when Rhino Bucket came around in the early 2000s, I had to think about that. I was like, do I really want to play, hard rock again? But then once I started doing it, it was like, putting on an old pair of shoes. I figured out that that's what I'm supposed to do. So.
Right.
Collective Soul's another band that I really liked.
I hated all those bands.
I liked them I liked their riffs. They always had great riffs in their music. Wasn't that I was a big fan of the singer, but their music was great. So if it's something that I could latch onto, I would. I would give it a chance, but for the most part, it just wasn't my thing.
Yeah, they weren't grunge anyway. I remember them. Yeah, and you're right.
They were hard rock, and they had really catchy songs. And I felt sorry for them because they were on Atlantic.
I like the Super Suckers.
Oh yeah, it's a deep one. I remember them. Yeah, I remember the '90s, man. All right, Rich, what do you got?
Okay, so what changed between Blow My Fuse and Hotwire as far as your success, touring, playing bigger venues, things like that?
Well, obviously, Blow My Fuse finally got us to the point where we had hoped to be. We were out of the van finally. We were on a tour bus. We were opening for bands like Rat and Great White and who else, Brian? Who else did we open for?
Oh, back then?
White Snake. So it was a big jump, and we got to go to Japan and do a tour. We got to go to the UK and do a tour. So things were really starting to move and starting to happen. Our album went platinum. The single "Don't Close Your Eyes" went platinum. So it was had a huge impact on our career, and we were hoping to carry that over into Hotwire. But that's when the grunge shit started to come into play, and we knew we were in trouble when I forget what band I heard, and you could just tell by it what radio was playing that they were done with us. MTV was done with us. So there was a new party in town, and we were kicked out.
Well, the same thing happened. Remember when we went up right before the record was released? We went up to the East West offices, to the CEO. I forget the guy's name. We're in his office, and just like when we finished Cool Kids, our A&R guy comes to the final mixes with a cassette of
Def Leppard.
Pyromania. Yeah, and we heard that after we just done Cool Kids. It was like, oh. So we just got finished with Hotwire. We go up to the CEO's office. He pulls out the Nirvana CD and holds it up and goes, "This is the next big thing." And we're like, "Oh, thanks." So that was
But I remember Headbangers Ball was still playing Hotwire and Girl Money and Same Jane. So you guys still had some success with that album, right?
A little bit, yeah. Before
a little bit.
The ship completely sank, yeah, there was a little bit.
So you guys should have made a grunge album. Come on. No, I'm kidding.
Yeah.
I don't know if you see the question. This is a pretty good one. Leslie Esterman asks, which musicians would Brian and Steve be super excited to meet or play with?
Well, that's easy. I think for both of us. Mick Jagger for me.
I've not gotten to meet Keith Richards yet. I still want to. I had 2 opportunities and missed it. But
all right. Yeah, that's hard to beat. That's a good answer. Well, I guess I'll twist that question around a little bit. Who have you met where you kind of like you lost it a little bit and went a little bit fanboy. Who have you been just overly excited to meet?
Oh, Billy Gibbons won.
Oh yeah. But
We
for
got-
me, with Alice Cooper, just a couple of years ago, when Hailstorm opened for him, Lizzie got us all backstage to meet Alice, and I couldn't even talk. I was literally I was starstruck. I just said, "Love you." I had nothing, and I so wanted to talk to him, but and it was during a meet and greet kind of a situation, so it's not like we could chat. So I just felt goofy being in that situation, but I had to meet him and get my picture taken with me. But that was a big one for me. I loved Alice Cooper.
Good answer. What about you, Brian?
Well, I mean, Billy Gibbons was one. I mean, we opened 2 shows. That was way back though. That was, I think, before Cool Kids or right after or somewhere around there.
Right after Cool Kids.
And I just briefly got to shake his hand. I didn't really get to meet him. And then years later, when I was in LA, I was at a club doing a blues gig. It was some benefit show, so there's a bunch of blues bands, and we got done playing, and I'm standing there watching the next band playing, and all of a sudden I see this little guy bounce in front of me with that little Jolly Green Giant hat on, and he turns around and there's the beard, and I'm like, that's Billy Gibbons, and he was just hanging out at the club, and he went over and sat by the bar, and I'm just looking, and I chickened out. I never went over to him. I wanted to go talk to him so bad, but there were bands playing and it was loud, and I would have had to yell into his ear, and I just it wasn't the right situation, so I chickened out.
You hear that, Billy Gibbons? If you're watching, you got someone you got to meet.
Oh, he's my all-time favorite. I love Billy Gibbons.
We've been lucky enough to meet a lot of our idols. We played with a lot. We played with Aerosmith. We played with Ted Nugent. We played with so many great bands. We played with Yes. We've played with ZZ Top. So we've been fortunate to play with all these people in a one-off situation, but it was still a great experience.
Yeah.
Excellent. Yeah. Thank you for the question. All right, Rich, I think, go ahead.
Okay. Brian, are you and Ronnie working on some riffs in this downtime now during the pandemic?
Not together, but I'm sure he's got some riffs. I've got I have my phone I record so many of those little on that voice record thing. Every time I get an idea, I put it on there. So there's thousands on there.
But you guys haven't like collaborated between the two of you for another Kicks album, maybe?
And we haven't gotten together now.
All right. That is the number one question I'm seeing, by the way. And thank you all for all of your awesome questions, and keep them coming. But I see a lot of questions about new Kicks in the future. I know you kind of alluded earlier that you don't have anything on the horizon, so I don't want to answer for you though. So what's your official answer to the people saying what's up with the new Kicks album?
It's something that you really have to weigh it, because it's a lot of work for one thing. And it's expensive to make, and you got to look, okay, what's the opportunity to get something back from this? It's not, we can't just put all of our money into something and not expect some kind of a return. And in this day and age, it's hard to get that return that makes it worth your while, unless you can make a record for free or have a label that's going to take on the cost, which we don't at this point. So it's kind of up in the air. We never say never. I didn't think we would ever put another record out, and Rock Your Face Off came out. So it was being kicked around before we did the Blow My Fuse re-release, and then when that whole campaign took off, and then the video for shooting Rock Your Face Off, and Mark's just come up with all these campaigns to keep us relevant and keep us in the news and doing stuff like this, and it keeps us out and rocking.
Yeah, my answer is I always just say one of these days.
Did Rock Your Face Off do pretty well though? I mean, I saw you for the tour, so I thought you guys did pretty well with it.
Well, it enters the charts, and it always looks great for about 2 weeks, and then it goes away, and that's about it. It has an impact for the first couple of weeks, and then it's gone. So everybody just streams music or steals music, and there's not many people are interested in the physical product anymore. So that's what I'm saying. You really have to weigh it out and make sure that it's worth your time, your effort, your money, and what's the return going to be on this, and is it really necessary?
like I'm looking at Wikipedia. I don't know how accurate this is because it says it sold 20,000 copies plus.
That sounds about right. That's piss compared to what even we did in our first 2 albums. So that's what I'm saying.
But by today's standard, that's still not too bad.
Yeah, no, it's good in today's standards.
Yeah. By the way, you guys don't have to hold back. You can say exactly what you feel, exactly what's on your mind. You know, I'm just kidding.
Okay, I am.
Yeah, no, I get that. That's awesome. By the way, it's awesome. You guys say
I don't care.
you guys are straight. You guys are straight shooters.
What are you going to do? Kick me out?
But so one more. We've had this question up here. Brad Swanson asked a while back, "What was your favorite music video to record?" So do you have one that was the most fun to do?
Body Talk.
Is that the one that Beavis and Butthead made fun of with the Body Talk, or was
that
it
was Cool Kids?
Okay. God, they were awful. Jesus, they were awful. They cost like $5,000 each to make, and it's fucking terrible. For me, I think it was Girl Money, because they had us on this stage, revolving stage, and we were going round and round. And I worked with this magician for about an hour, so he could teach me how to pop that top hat off and catch it. And it was fun. It was a lot of fun to make that video.
That was a good one.
That was a good.
Get It While It's Hot was pretty cool too at John Scarpati's studio.
Yeah, that was a good one too.
Yeah,
I remember doing Cold Blood, and I thought I'd wear these really nice leather vinyl, not vinyl. I don't know what the hell they were, but they were tight as shit. And I wore them things for 18 hours, jumping around making that video. I ruined my boots. I ruined my leather pants. My feet hurt for a week. And I thought, fuck that. I ain't ever doing that again.
I think I ruined my shoes too that day. They were like just sweaty, soggy mess when we got done.
There's an 18-hour shoot. You guys were there for that long?
It was take after take after take. And it was like the whole song takes.
Yeah.
I mean, it was like relentless.
I love those boots too. They were so cool. Red suede, that's what they were, the Beetle boots, and they were so cool, and I ruined them.
All right, Kicks fans, you heard what Steve needs for Christmas.
They ended up looking like OJ.
I wear bowling shoes now.
All right, I'll pop up another question, but Rich, I know you got a bunch.
You guys don't play the European countries too often, so do you think you might make it over there when things hopefully get a little bit better and do some big shows over there, big festivals?
We never really did well in Europe. I mean, we only went to the UK one time. I think we played Manchester a couple years ago in Sweden, but we never really took off, never got any airplay in Europe, so there was not much of a reason to go over there. Once again, Atlantic didn't do anything to further our career over there, so we were pretty much a US band.
Yeah, I mean, I went over there with Rhino Bucket to experience it, and I don't think to do it right in Europe, you have to be willing to like just go to the tiny little clubs and just play night after night after night after night after night. Otherwise, you don't make any money unless you go over and get put on like the big festivals. And I don't see that happening like right off the bat.
You guys have done a couple though, right? Didn't you do Sweden Rock and a couple others, I think?
Yeah. Sweden Rock's cool.
And you mentioned Japan.
If we could line up a bunch of festivals, we'd probably go over.
Yeah, if it was worth it and it wasn't grueling. Like Brian and doing Rhino Bucket, they would do like 35 dates in 33 days, and I'm like, that's crazy.
Yeah, there's no way Kicks could pull that one off.
We
were our own road crew. I mean, you have to strip down to bare nothing to do those shows. So they're crazy.
Well, we're almost out of time. We've got a couple more minutes. So we got what Len Weber says. Yeah. You guys own this saying.
Sure.
So I don't know, Rich, go ahead, fire away. I know you got more.
Well, what can the fans look forward to for the campaign for the reissue of Midnight Dynamite for the year coming up? If you're not going to be playing shows, what are they? What you guys got coming? You got like maybe a remix or a reworked version of a video or something?
Wow.
As of now, I don't know of anything that's going on. Everybody's just in lockdown. We can't get together. We can't do anything. We're just waiting this thing out like everybody else. So I'm sure when we do get back out and play, we'll probably pull a couple songs off of Midnight Dynamite that we haven't played in years. There are some that I don't even know if I can do Cold Shower anymore. That's just a ridiculous song for a grown ass man to sing. But I'm sure we'll pull some cuts off of that, like something like Scarlet Fever, which I don't think we've played since the record came out, is a possibility.
Okay. What about you, Brian? Is there maybe something you'd like to do for the album to celebrate it?
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. We haven't really discussed it as a band. I was wondering if we were going to end up doing the album in its entirety like we did with Blow My Fuse, but I don't know. I don't know.
I don't think so.
I've got to remember all those songs. There's something, like Steve said, like Scarlet Fever. I don't even remember how to play that. I'd have to relearn it.
I don't think we ever played Cry Baby. I don't think we ever played that song live.
No, we never.
There's a reason, because it does this. It's one of those songs. Doesn't make any sense. It's sideways, upside down. Time signatures are fucked up. It's like, I ain't doing that.
All right. Well, I think we've been seeing this question a lot. I guess this will have to be our last one. But I think you touched on this a little bit earlier. But Mike McHale asks, will Relit include a Ronnie or Brian solo on Scarlet Fever? And will Jimmy now be on drums for Sex and Lie Like a Rug? I think you already mentioned Anton. Yeah, Anton Fig.
Yes to both. Yes to both.
Yeah.
Yeah, Ronnie redid the Scarlet Fever solo.
So, all right. Well, we don't want to take up your whole night. I mean, yes, we do, but we're going to let you guys go. I want to say thank you guys so much. It's really been an honor. You guys are awesome, and I hope COVID lets you guys kind of get back to kicking ass and doing what you do best. But thank you so much. I'm not going to have the last word. I'm going to shut the fuck up. Rich and you guys take us out.
That's right. You guys take us out. You're the guests.
Well, we appreciate you having us on, and we want to say hi to all of our fans. Thank you for sticking with us all these years, and can't wait to get back out and see you again.
Yeah. I hate this like a show here and there. It's like so nerve-wracking, because I'm so used to routine and just going, week to week. So I can't wait till we're up and running again.
Well, we're looking forward to you guys getting back on the road too.
All right, guys. Thanks for having us.
Yeah,
Thanks.
thank you. Thank you, everyone, for watching.
Yep, thank you, everybody.
All right.
See ya.
We are